Welcome to another edition of the Resilient Living Podcast, a show dedicated to improving quality of life for both people and planet through liberation and independence, moving from surviving to thriving and living life on your own terms. All right, I want to talk about today of how there is so much in the city, there's so much around us, so many useful resources that we don't even see. And I see so many people struggling and wondering, well, I can't, and there's this and that, some problems, and I can't afford this and that. Guys, there's free stuff everywhere, and it's good for the planet for you guys to utilize the things that I'm going to share with you today. And it's the abundance and scavenging the city. Some of this stuff may seem a little strange for you guys, for some of you who would look and, who've got the ego, I would say, and go, I'm not going to go grab something that's next to a dumpster or sidewalk shopping or something like that. I'm afraid what people would think of me or something. I think that, if you can disregard that and put that down and put it on the shelf for a little while and look and say, you know what? These are actually things that could bring me joy. These are actually things that are useful. And you know what? I can help my planet. I can help my community. I can help myself. So the very first one I have here in the abundance of scavenging the city is free food. So I see a lot of people who are poor. And I think a lot, when I think to myself, who is going to hear this type of message? Who are the people that are into this kind of stuff? And I think it's the majority of the poor, I think, and a lot of the hipsters and cool people who are into repurposing things, and such as Rob Greenfield, those kind of styles. I haven't heard of Rob Greenfield. You should check him out. Really cool dude. I would love to meet him one day and get him on the show. But yeah, there's so many things we can do as far as free food for a lot of people who are homeless or down and out, poor. And even if your life's going to take a turn. I'm doing a lot of these shows because I think hard times are coming and we're all going to have to learn some skills. And scavenging the city, I think, is one of the most abundant places you can do this in. And as far as food, guys, there is me and my grandfather. There's going to be a lot about my grandpa. He's the one who taught me a lot about this stuff. And you may think this is disgusting, but we used to go behind the Albertsons, the grocery store, when I got a house. I remember he told me, hey, drive around the back. I want to see if there's some recyclables. We're going to talk about that later, too. Actually, how you can make money. But we went to the back, and there was the dumpster there, and they had these little cool wood baskets. And there was trash, and trash bags and stuff like that. But they literally took these bananas and just threw them all, stacked them all on top of the trash bin there. Or inside the trash bin, basically. And he was like, go and grab me one of those things. I want to make some banana bread. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's gross at first I looked at. But when we looked at it, they weren't really rotting. They weren't touching anything disgusting around the edge, of the trash bin. In fact, everything was really clean because most of the garbage was like styrofoam and cardboard boxes and bagged up stuff. And these things were literally in cardboard boxes and these little wooden crates. And I just simply picked them up off the top, put them in the truck, and he made me, of course, take all of them. And we washed them up at home, and he made some banana bread with chocolate chips and stuff, and we composted the rest of the banana peels. I spoke in another show how he used banana peels for roses. It makes them actually flourish. And yeah, I've seen such things as lettuces and stuff, especially in very wealthy neighborhoods. If you go back there, of course, you'd want to ask permission. Ish. But if they're by a trash bin or they're in a trash bin, they're most likely going to be thrown away. And sometimes you'll get something like iceberg lettuce and it's still cold. And you can take off the outer layers and get to the heart of it, which is still cold and still has fresh drops of water on it. And you can actually make yourself a salad. So there's free food. I've heard of people getting pizzas. I heard all kinds of different stuff as far as food goes. Guys, there is an abundance out there. And if anything, which we're going to talk about, well, I won't want to give it away. We're going to give you guys some more uses with dumpster diving for free food. But the next one that you have for free food, which is not so disgusting, is actually, which I probably should have opened up because I probably lost a lot of you. But if I did, oh well. Fruit trees. Now, it is, I think that there's a politeness that you should probably ask somebody, because I was nurturing an orange tree, I remember, in a house I was living in, and the apartment buildings, the parking lot was right over the other side of my fence. And next thing I know, I see these hands coming up. My whole tree is shaking, and people are just ripping stuff off and ripping the branches off. I wasn't too cool with that. But it would be, you know, a little polite if you went and asked somebody, hey, may I pick some fruits off your area? You know, be over your, you know, this was just what's hanging over the fence. But it's totally legal. I mean, I think that there's some propriety about it and some, you know, being kind about it and courteous. But I've gotten avocados, I've gotten lemons, limes. I used to pick out all my spots when I'd be driving around the cities. And literally you could see them rolling down the street, like lemons and oranges. That's how I found it. I'm driving, all of a sudden I just see like an orange and a lemon laying there, and I look down the alleyway, and you could just see a whole bunch laying there. So I went and picked a couple up, looked at them, I was like, well, you know, that's something I could use. I use limes for everything, lemons and limes. And yeah, you can go over and get these fruit trees, and literally some people in backyards, you can go and look and see stuff just falling down, persimmons, and at least where I live right now, and even down to avocados, guys. You can go over to knock on the door and ask the people politely and say, hey, I can make this a regular thing where I can come, I'll clean this all up for free, and I'll actually bake you an apple pie or make you some banana bread, or, you know, what's really cool over here is we have macadamia nuts all over the place. You can go and collect all the macadamia nuts and tell them, hey, I'll make you some macadamia butter, or I'll crack the seeds and I'll save you bring you a whole bag in return for me, in exchange for me cleaning up all this stuff for you, all this fruit. So really, really cool stuff there. My next ones I have is farmers market farms. And a friend of mine actually I never would have thought of this. He actually went over to where he got the address from the farmers market of where these farms are actually located. And they have, right in front of their driveway, they actually have a big giant compost pile. And a lot of the produce they don't sell and stuff just starts to turn, right? Like tomatoes and stuff like that. And a lot of you guys probably aren't aware that tomatoes that are starting to get really soft and stuff like that, you could actually can those. You can boil them up and everything, get rid of the skins, and actually make tomato sauce, tomato paste, stewed tomatoes. He's gotten such stuff as mushrooms, zucchini, cucumbers, and another cool thing is like a lot of big giant plants that were growing out there, vegetables. You can actually go like pumpkins and zucchini. It got too big for market. They'll just throw them over in the compost pile. And of course, you probably want to ask permission first, but I'm sure they wouldn't bother if you took one zucchini. But take that and you got free seeds. Not only that, you have something that's land raised, that's bred for this biome wherever you live, and take those and go start your own garden. You're getting seeds for free. So yeah, lots of free food. Next one on my list is firewood. And oh my God, I think my grandfather, which we called Zeda in Russian, which is my heritage, I think he made me do all kinds of different stuff over here. He got me going with this, got me into this free scavenging stuff. But yeah, with my grandfather, we got oak, we got eucalyptus, we got hardwoods for firewood. And a lot of this is already pre-chopped up because they have to pick up the large pieces in manageable weight and size for somebody to pick up and throw in the back of a truck. While driving around in the city, there'd be these fallen trees, and sometimes, you know, it'd be off, the side of a apartment building or something. They would chop everything up, didn't have enough room in the wood chipper or to haul it all off, and it's just sitting there, nobody's around. I'm pretty sure you're not going to get arrested for loading up a truck full of firewood, right? Cleaning something up, you might want to check. But I've been doing it for years, and we've really had no problem. But guys, I'm talking about oak trees. There's a huge rainstorm that's happening today as I record the show, and there's going to be a lot of fallen trees. A lot of people don't know that oak trees have a very shallow root system. The root system kind of looks like the top of the tree, you know, where it's just this kind of like a mushroom. And you'll see them when they're falling over. There'll be this big, giant, round, shallow root system, which is really cool because another use I've seen people or heard about somebody making money is they would take these giant root balls and they would cut off the tree and just take the roots, the big old heart. And what they did is they would shave those off. They'd sell them to somebody who would take them and sawmill them, and they would make coffee tables and stuff because it's this dense knotted wood with all these nice little fibers and like configurations. It's like artwork. So you can actually make a lot of money by picking up giant root balls. But yeah, firewood. For sure, we always had an abundance of free firewood, even in the middle of the city. My grandfather was like me. I can have a fire every single night. Even in the summer, I could actually have a little fire. It keeps the smoke, helps keep the mosquitoes away and stuff like that. And I just love the smell of it. The smell of it on my clothes the next day is like perfume. So yeah, there's free firewood. Free firewood and construction sites as well is where I used to go. Having all this hardwood around was cool, but it was a pain in the butt splitting. what I would do is go down to construction sites and all the end of the 2x4s, 6-inch, 1-footers and stuff like that. They'd have this big giant pile. I don't know if you're going to find it nowadays, but this is something where you definitely want to ask permission too. You don't want to get in trouble. But they'll just have this big old wood pile where they're going to throw in the dumpster or they have to pay somebody to haul it away. You come over with your pickup truck or your car, bundle all this stuff up. What's nice is if you're driving a regular old car with a trunk or something, 2x4s could be stacked relatively tight and you can get a lot of wood in there. You can use this for building stuff, arts and crafts, firewood, but it's free resources that are otherwise going to go to the landfill when you can use it yourself. Now, getting a hatchet and splitting up a 6-inch or a 1-foot piece of 2x4 for kindling is way easier than trying to split, big giant 1-foot diameter oak or eucalyptus. So yeah, construction sites are a really good place to find not only wood, now that I'm talking about it, all kinds of different scraps and stuff. I mean, there's nails and screws and things that people just throw around, sweep up and throw in the garbage. And I'm pretty sure, guys, that's the sad day and age where somebody's afraid to get sued if you went in and offered to sweep the floor up for free in exchange for, screws and firewood or something like that. Fallen trees, that's what we were talking about for firewood. I have on my notes here. My next one is compost materials. The abundance of city scavenging. You want to start growing your own food? You want to start, I'm talking large scale too, guys. The amount of lawn clippings that are thrown in green waste in general, how much free green resources you can get for your compost pile. Dead leaves as well. Really, if you guys, to make composting simple for you, some lawn clippings and dried leaves, just mix those two together uniformly, put them in a pile, toss it every once in a while if you want. It's probably the best thing to keep it aerated, but it's going to rot down into some rich, fertile compost for you to actually grow your own food. Start a community garden to feed the poor people. If you're a homeless person or something, to me, I don't see why you wouldn't go to the parks, like the local city parks. Go up in the little hillside behind where nobody could see. Plant yourself some zucchini and tomatoes right next to the sprinkler system that keeps the irrigation, and just tuck some little stuff. Just hide it in there and get yourself, a little 5-gallon bucket or something. Make yourself some compost someplace wherever you're at, and just slowly go there and start feeding that thing and start growing your own food instead of going out there and having to ask for money and things like that. And if we all started doing things like this around the world, around all of our major cities, growing edibles, foods and things like that, I don't think we'd have so much homelessness and people going hungry. The next one I have here is market farmers' farms. Again, a lot of the scraps and stuff like that, I think that they may have so much abundance. I know that there's a place out here in North County, San Diego, where it's a mushroom farm, and they have these little tiny wood pallets that they squeeze into cups, and they grow mushrooms out of them. Well, mushrooms, the mycelium, the network, the leftovers have so much power and nutrients inside of them in conjunction with the wood chips, the little hard balls that they're made out of. It's free. They don't have enough space to deal with this stuff, and they have to have a sterilized environment to grow them inside these buildings. So they don't want they can't reuse it. Basically, they need to get all this stuff from fresh. Sadly, but you, as a gardener, somebody can go and take these things, even for your front lawn. I don't think I mentioned that. If you got fruit trees or just trees growing in your house, and you're not into gardening or all that, producing your own food, but you got flowers and an oak tree and stuff, start saving some compost, putting that on top of around your trees, sprinkle it lightly over your lawn right before a rain, and watch how rich everything will start to look. And you're repurposing. But you can go down to places like this and just get free shovelfuls. Again, me and my grandfather would go down to the cattle ranches and a lot of people who own horses, and we'd get all the manure, free manure you want. Now, it does come with weed seeds and stuff in it, but hey, what are you going to do? There are ways that you can actually treat your compost, the cow dung and horse dung and stuff like that, chicken manure, and you can actually wrap it up inside some plastic and actually bake the heck out of it with the heat of itself, with adding some nitrogen. Actually, give you guys an idea, you can urinate on it for extra nitrogen, and that will actually make it so hot it most likely will burn off most of the seeds. I cook them alive. Dumpsters, as I said, with Grandpa, where we'd go down to grabbing all the food scraps. Now, this is when you could just get rotten stuff. Stuff that's just turned where you're like, I'm not eating that. That's half rotten. It's a whole cardboard box full of apples half rotten. take that and use that for compost. You guys got free compost, free way to grow your food. In fact, utilizing, if you took like rotten tomatoes and not necessarily lettuce, but like zucchini, pumpkins and stuff like that, and you just take these, throw them inside your long grass and your what do you call it, your leaves, your brown leaves that you got, the leaf waste, mix everything all up together, let it all just rot, and then just spread it out in your backyard once everything's all finished, the compost. And watch what's going to happen. You're going to have tomatoes popping up everywhere, volunteers, zucchini, squash, cucumbers, bell peppers, all these things will just start. You don't have to even do anything. That's the beauty of it. Now I'm too energetic about this show. So yeah, neighborhood for scraps as well. A lot of people have breads and stuff like that. If you're practicing bokashi composting, which is a really cool thing you could do, or just composting in general, there's multiple different ways. So many people have food scraps, and if you just ask them and you told them your story, you're doing what you're doing, you know, bring a 5-gallon bucket, give it to them with a lid, tell them just put all your breads or your food scraps in here, eggshells and stuff like that, all the roots and leaves and things that you don't, rotten vegetables, banana skins and stuff like that. Just toss it in this bucket, and I'll actually come twice a week or every weekend, and I'll pick it up, leave it on your doorstep, and I'll leave you a nice clean bucket. And in return, I'm saving the earth, or maybe in return you could bring them a little batch of tomatoes or something like that once a month. Just some sort of equal value for value exchange. So next is wood pallets, and these things are everywhere, guys, everywhere. And I was talking about them on the last show. There is a lot of things that you guys can do. You can make porch swings. You can make planter boxes. It's just, you can make a doll houses. You can make forts. For my children is one of the cool things. I'd cut all the 1x6 boards off the top of the pellets and just stack them all up, clean all the nails out of them and everything. And then I would just leave them there. And I'd tell my oldest daughter, you know, those are yours. Do what you want to do. Here's a little handsaw, some nails, and a hammer. Go build yourself a fort somewhere. And pretty cool where we live. We live tiny in a stationary RV style, full time. And in the back, we have a little forest. And guess what's out there? A little fort. She built herself a little house thing where she's got shelves and all kinds of cute stuff in there. So wood pellets, guys, for firewood. I mean, a lot of them are thrown away for free. There is so many uses you could repair parts of your home with them if you wanted to. You can make siding. You can go and paint each board and actually split them apart like shingles, like wood shingles. And you can actually make siding. If you had enough pitch to a roof, you could actually make waterproof roof out of these things. So many, many uses for, I mean, the list just goes on and on. Cardboard and other recyclables. I was talking about me and Grandpa driving around. Now, actually, my grandfather was retired, and he liked to go to the horse track to bet on horses. I never really got too much. I went with him, you know, because he wanted me to chaperone him. And, you know, it's like $3. You can bet $2 like on a horse. You can do a trifecta, I think it was, where it's $6, where you could pick 3 horses. And if those 3 horses come in at any numbers, you win, actually, which got me a little bit. I won $80 off $6 from aluminum cans and cardboard that we recycled. So a lot of you guys probably don't know that obviously cans are recyclable, and it depends on the economy. You'll have to look, but glass is usually not that great. Plastic drinking water bottles and soda bottles are actually probably the second to best, third to the best, but the second to best is aluminum, of course. And you can find these things. Me and my grandfather find them behind grocery stores, apartment buildings, again, dumpster diving. One cool thing is cardboard as well, that a lot of companies will throw off to the side, and they have a lot of scavengers that come in pickup trucks, like my grandfather. And I drive him around, and again, I didn't think much of it until we filled up the entire back of his truck, and it was only a 6-foot bed, guys. We filled that whole thing up, and then we went about a foot above the cab, and we went on top of the cab a little bit and tied everything down. I know we look like the Beverly Hillbillies, but we got all that cardboard loaded up for him, took it in, and guess how much it was per ton? $85. I seen it up to $110, and that was probably about 15 years ago. But me and Grandpa went out, and for about 2 hours, and we made about $80. We took that money and went to the horse track, and I just did that about maybe 3 or 4 bets, like I says, and then I ended up making $80, and then we went out to the buffet and ate all you can eat, and just really had a great time sitting there having a beer at the horse races. And not that you have to go gambling or anything like that, but you could literally, if you guys went out cardboarding, you guys can imagine if you did 2 or 3 of these loads, you can probably average about, I would say, about $200 a day. And then you don't need no contractor's license. Obviously, you don't need any experience. And really, you don't need permission. A lot of these people just, you'll see at the back of like TJ Maxx, not necessarily like grocery stores. You probably have to ask permission because they usually recycle their own. But you go to these lower end stores, shoe stores and stuff like that. And the best ones were the places that sold like refrigerators and stuff and beds. They had these huge, thick pieces of cardboard. They're just thrown out there. You got to cut them and everything and fold them all up, but they'll just throw them out there and back. And what I used to do is go and ask the manager. I practiced it for a while just to see, just to have like a sort of side hustle thing. And a lot of the people told me, yeah, go for it. The best days are going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's when we get our shipments in and everything. And we'll leave it specifically for you. Guy cuts it up. It will be here at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. That's usually when I have my guy go out there and clean everything up. And you're more than welcome to take them. I've even had people tell me that they had a white recyclable bin out there for the trash guys to come and pick up. They said they literally had to pay to have the cardboard hauled away. Whereas they said, if you're going to be here, every week to pick this stuff up, we'll cancel that expense off our business and you just go ahead and pick it up. Guys, if you got yourself a big enough truck, which I had a dump trailer, and I think I made the best I made was about $300 in a day, I believe. And this is a big dump trailer. This thing could hold like 5 tons, whatever. It's about a 12 by 8 feet wide, 12 feet long, 8 feet wide, and about 6 foot walls. Filled that whole thing up, and I ended up making myself about $200 to $300. I can't remember. It was something really good. I think it was $300, and I did about 3 of those. And it took me all day to fill that thing up, especially I didn't have all my spots. If you got your spots all picked out, you can really make an income off of this. So guys, yeah, like I said, nobody's telling you what to do. There's no payroll. There's no nothing. You got to have to pay your taxes, but man, it's pretty lucrative thing. All right, so moving next on dumpster diving in general. Me and Grandpa, again, would go to college dorms, RV parks, apartment buildings and stuff like that. Now, my grandfather is one of those old guys, and all his friends became my friends. And these guys had nothing else better to do but take apart fans and stuff like that. Some of them knew about transistors and electrical motors and stuff like that. Many big things we found were space heaters, vacuum cleaners, power drills. Believe it or not, like my grandpa got the battery operated power drills. It was just that the brushes on the inside of the drill just needed to be replaced. It's these little things that circle around the the magnet. You would not believe TVs, big screen TVs, and all kind of things that all it needed was a bulb placed in the back if you have the right savvy. And nowadays we have YouTube and Google to look up on how to repair stuff. So you can literally pick up probably about a $400 or $500 TV that just needed to be reset somehow with maybe a new transistor or just a light bulb, taking it apart, and you can go and sell these things or get yourself a brand new TV, for free. So there's so many things dumpster diving beyond food and making finding recyclables and stuff like that. But so many electronics that I can't even list everything that we'd find. Standing fans, right? When it was summertime, my grandfather found a generator. Somebody just threw a gas generator away. Yeah, I guess I am over fervorous about this, but no, we went and changed the spark plugs and stuff on it, some weed eaters and stuff like that, chainsaws. There was so much stuff that you could find in the city, just abundance. All right, probably not the best thing for most of you guys. I don't know if I've lost people yet. I just think it's super cool. Like the feeling I just want to give you guys about scavenging is that I want to take you guys with me. Is when I was recycling the cardboard and finding such things as like tools and appliances and stuff like that, it was relaxing. I didn't have to go anywhere. I didn't have to work super hard. It was however the pace that I wanted to take. Now I have that anyways. I'm an entrepreneur and own my own business, so I can go to work, not go to work. but I have to deal with clients, paperwork, and stuff like that. When I was getting this cardboard and finding these things, I would grab each little square of cardboard, little piece of trash that I found, and I would put it inside with my deal instead of throwing it back in the trash, just as a gesture to look at it. And I thought one time this was a tree. This was the branch of a tree or something. And every little scrap and piece to go and have the time, because nobody's over my shoulder. There's no deadline. There's no liability insurance and all this kind of crap I have to pay for. I can just do what I want when I want. And I choose to save every little piece and do my part to saving the planet. It just felt good. And just the fact of being out there and making $200-300 in a day with just, I can go take a nap, which I would do. I'd have my load in the back of my trailer. And I'm in my vehicle. That's where I record my shows right now. I have a little bed in the back, and I could just go take a nap down by at the park or down by the beach and just kind of siesta the day away, for just an hour or so. And then get back up and, nothing's going anywhere. And it was just such a feeling of freedom and something I never really experienced, even in my own business right now, because, there was no there to get to. And if you didn't get enough today, there's probably some tomorrow. And once you get your routes and everything going, it was so relaxing, and the feeling that you're removing this stuff from the landfill for being trashed and all this pollution and repurposing was just a wonderful feeling. And I just wanted to give you guys that is like, yeah, of course we're not millionaires, right? We're not going to be breaking the bank with the loads of money we're going to be depositing in it, but we're getting by just fine. And $300 a day to me, guys, that's not too bad. That's not too shabby. One thing I would like to share with you guys, dumpster diving like that, is that you actually want to take yourself a broom and a dustpan is what I used to do. And even though I didn't make a mess, I just kept the place cleaner. Like after I was done grabbing all my cardboard and stuff like that, of course any mess I made I'd throw in the bin, like any pieces of like plastic bands or something like that. But I'd also sweep around that area just very quickly and throw it away and clean everything up so that the managers and everybody knew that, hey man, this guy's really taking care of stuff here. And it just gives a little bit of extra. All right, so my next one is free stuff on the internet. And there's OfferUp, there's Craigslist, there's Facebook, there's Curb Alert stuff where you can go find free things. I got a sink for my farm. I got a door for my greenhouse. It's the coincidental ideology, the philosophy that if you throw something out there, right? It was what I did. It was on my notes here. Just ask your neighborhood for something. And I asked for a door. Does anybody happen to have a free door or know anybody who has a door? I got an oak door with a glass window offered to me. For some reason, I didn't get it. I should have, because the cheap door I picked up is rotting. But guys, they knew somebody who knew somebody. You put it out there, and next thing I know, I just put one message out in one city. I had my option of like 15 different doors, guys. I got myself a sink. I had 3 different options. The first place I went to, I found a brand new sink that was sitting behind somebody's shed with the faucet and everything all hooked up. One of those utility sinks, and for free. They were just like, "Get it out of here, man. Get it out." So the amount of free, it's amazing. The things that you can get. I found what I'm looking for is free greenhouses. There's a free greenhouse. There's also free paint, guys. A lot of you guys probably don't know, instead of dumping your paint in the trash can or pouring it out to dry out on a piece of cardboard or plywood or something like that, you can actually take it for free, I believe, to the fire department. If not the fire department, some places you'd have to look for it. It's a hazardous waste recycling place for free. You can bring insecticides, hairsprays, gasoline, or some stuff that they won't take, transmission oil, engine coolant, but they'll also take paint. And what they do is they take all these paints and they mix them up in this big old vat. And it usually turns gray, but you have a free paint to repaint your house or for whatever. If you're starting a little side business with used pallets and stuff like that, paint them up with some used old gray paint. As long as it's, you got uniformity, or even if you got mixed up colors, you can go out, get yourself like 3 different 5-gallon buckets of free paint and mix up colors and make it a rainbow of gray. So yeah, free paint, there's so much free stuff. And I'm running out of time, and I hate this. I want to do shows on my own terms here. The day after or late evening of an estate sale is my last thing. I'm going to have to cut it off here, guys. These are times when I was moving, having to get rid of everything, when I decided to live minimalistic, essentialistic, I guess, living. I don't know if that's even a word. Am I making stuff up? I had a weekend and everything went bad. I don't want to tell the story, but I was honest, let my landlord know what was going on, and he's like, you only have this amount of time. I'm like, wait, whoa, man, I got to finish up jobs. I own a business. And he was like, well, I need to get this stuff running. That's it. I'm done. I was like, whoa, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. Lesson learned. But when I was selling stuff to really downsize, I did it for 2 weekends, and literally towards the end of the last weekend, a lot of stuff got sold, but a lot of stuff didn't. I ended up giving away tools and really good stuff because I was in a pinch for time. And I'm telling you guys, you can go out to these yard sales and estate sales especially and find some really, really good stuff. Turn this into a business or refurbish your house, give it away, start some art. There's so many ideas. Guys, the scavenging in the city has so much, the abundance in the city has so much possibilities. And it's a wonderful, like I said, I've given you guys ideas for businesses, how to feed yourself, how to grow a garden, get free seeds, and we haven't even scratched the surface. So before I go, though, I do want to say that I've been thinking about posting extra stuff on YouTube because they don't charge me. If you guys don't know, it does cost to do these shows, these podcasts on the audio, and I'm only allotted so much time, and I'm trying to keep it down to 20 at max 30 minutes, and we're already over 30 minutes right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We've got the email in the comments below. If you guys want to say hello, let me know about the question I just asked you. If you guys would want me to keep going and give you guys basically the extended version. And yeah, if I brought you guys any value, please like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. If you gave me a thumbs down, please tell me why. I love hearing people's opinions and differences of stuff. And guys, by sharing or commenting on the show is what helps the algorithm to get the show off the ground. So only if I've given you guys a good entertainment, if I gave you guys any kind of value, please help me out with that. That's all I'm asking. So guys, as I always say, go out there and have yourself a near life experience. Don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire. And human up, my friends.